Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this ASUS laptop. This is model Q526F, alright, notebook PC. So we're going to use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove the screws. There might be some screws hidden underneath these rubber caps because there's none of the screws in the corner, so we're going to see if we can pop some of those up. The customer kind of already has one of these rubber feet, looks like messed up or missing. But anyways, let's go ahead and remove these screws. Wow, these screws are really tight. So the customer spilled some liquid on here. We're gonna open it up and see how bad the damage looks. If it looks really bad, then most likely we're just gonna pull the data out, but we'll see here. All right, let's go ahead and remove these. So normally we would try and repair the motherboard if the liquid damage looks pretty bad, but in this case the customer said that they need it back right kind of as soon as possible so they can use it for work. I forgot to mention, don't forget you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that, I put them flat side down like that. In the pattern I remove them, so you see this, it's kind of somewhat like a rectangle. We'll see if there's screws under there, then it'll be a rectangular pattern, but yeah, just keep them in that pattern so you can know where the screws came from. Alright, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. Alright, if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Oops, okay. So we got that rubber piece off. I'm going to have to look for it. It fell somewhere. But anyways, looks like the customer already tried to open this. So let's see. Okay, the screw does come out. Yeah, so most likely there's screws on each corner. So we're going to have to pull up all these little rubber feet. I'm just using my fingernail. You can use whatever you want. Plastic pry tools, whatever works for you. Okay, so there's this adhesive goopy stuff underneath. That's going to be a little bit of a pain to remove. We're going to try and use this to pull it up so that way we can keep it with the rubber foot. Okay, and it looks like, again, the customer already kind of peeled this up. It doesn't look completely smooth like it should be. Alright, so there we go. We'll set the rubber foot aside and remove that screw as well. Oh, this screw is like loose. So this screw is not even screwed in properly. It's kind of stuck there with the adhesive. Let's try with the magnet. Okay, there we go. Alright, and let's check the other two corners down here. I don't know, it's like greasy here, so hopefully it wasn't like an oily spill. But I guess we'll find out. Alright, so this one came out more the way it should, with the adhesive stuck to the rubber foot. Okay, there we go. And the last screw here, I'm gonna remove this as well. There we go. Alright, let me actually find that rubber piece that fell out and I'll be back. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I found the rubber foot. Apparently they put it back on upside down, so they put it with this side up, and yeah, that's why it just kind of flew out. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this bottom cover off. We're going to try with a suction cup and see if we can get it out that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that. So I'm going to hold on to the frame around here with my fingernail and then see if we can pull this up. It doesn't look like, oh okay, it came out not too bad. Okay, now that we got that, let's go ahead and carefully lift that out. Here you go. There's nothing really in the bottom to do, so if they already opened this and cleaned it, it's going to be hard to tell if it's going to be repairable or not. Okay, so there's some marker splatter here. I don't currently see anything weird. The battery actually extends all the way up here. You have a regular hard drive and you have a M.2, is that SATA? It's a M.2 SATA. I don't know if it supports PCIe NVMe SSDs, but there's a 128 gig M.2 SSD. It's a M.2 SATA. Then you got the CPU soldered to the motherboard. The RAM is soldered to the motherboard. I don't really see much else in here. Let's go ahead and actually take out the battery. So the battery connector, let's zoom in. Okay, let's see here. So the way you remove the battery, there's this metal tab here. You want to slide that down just like that. After you slide it down, you can go ahead and pull this up. All right, I'm going to go from this side because this side there's kind of the battery in the way, but there you go. We lifted that out and now the battery is disconnected. Okay, let's zoom back out here. I guess we're going to take out all the components to take a look underneath and see what we can find. All right, so we got the SSD. Again, you want to keep all the screws in order. All right, let's remove this one screw here. All right, once you get that out, you can lift the SSD up slightly and then you can go ahead and pull it back. SSD doesn't seem to have any visual liquid damage, so we'll set that aside. Hopefully it's okay, because they said main thing they want is their data, if anything. Okay, we're going to remove the hard drive here as well, so we'll flip this tab up. Oh, one other thing, to be extra safe after disconnecting the battery, let's go ahead and open up the computer. Okay, and then we're going to press and hold the power button on the side, all right, for about 15 seconds. This will drain any residual power and will make it a lot safer to work on. If you don't do this, there's a good chance you can destroy your computer. So yeah, just hold on to that. And no, I've had people ask me like if they need to do it. It only takes 15 seconds, so yeah, might as well. All right, so let's go ahead and close this back up. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and actually pull out the battery here. So let's disconnect this cable here. So flip up that latch. And then we're going to pull this back. Here we go. And then flip up this latch as well. Okay. And then we'll pull this side of the cable. Actually, was this cable out? Okay. I think they brought it to somebody before. So I think what happened is this board here. I don't know if you can see this. The cable is actually fried. So I think what happened is this power cable, the cable that goes to the power button, is dead, and because of that the computer's not going to turn on even if the motherboard is fixed. So most likely we're not going to be able to fix this within the same day, because we'd have to order parts and see if we can repair it. I'll try cleaning up the connector a little bit. All right, I'm just using some rubbing alcohol, 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, to clean this. It is cleaning up okay, but we'll see. All right, there's lots of signs of liquid damage right there, and also the connector back here also looks fried. So again, we'll see. I'll try and brush it up. If they're lucky, if it didn't completely fry that piece, then we might be okay. So that means pressing the power button on this for 15 seconds probably didn't really do anything because this thing is fried. So we'll see. All right, anyways, I'm gonna put a little rubbing alcohol on there. You don't want too much. All right, just put a little bit just to clean up that residue. Okay, so the liquid with electricity flowing through it causes corrosion, so it basically makes it like it's like rust. So that's what the corrosion is, and the electricity running through it basically makes it happen a lot faster. So yeah, all right, anyways, it looks like we're gonna have to take out these wireless antennas as well. This cable, I'm gonna try and carefully peel it up. Okay, but we're gonna leave this, actually no, we'll just peel it all the way off. No, actually it's stuck pretty strong, so we're gonna leave that on there. And then let's go ahead and get the wireless antennas out here. The wireless card is right here. It's soldered to the motherboard as well, so this model's kind of sucks. Everything is soldered together. But let's go ahead and lift this out. Okay, so we're gonna take the tape off here so that we can get to the antennas. All right, and then we're gonna pop up the antennas. So the antennas you kind of just want to lift from the tails. Let me zoom in here. Okay, So you kind of just want to lift from the tails. I'm going to use this small tool to get underneath. I'm going to hold it over here and then pop it up just like that. Same thing with the black one. Okay, I guess we'll go from this side and pop that up. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and also disconnect the LCD LVDS connector. Very important that you press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds before removing this. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this and pop that up. Okay, and let's get this wire out from underneath the fan. Zoom out a little bit. Actually, we'll move it over. Sorry for the wobbling. Okay, so get that out. Just like this. Okay, so we don't need to unthread it all the way. Well, I guess let's do it because let's take this whole computer apart. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the wireless antennas out now. Okay, just like that, and like that. Black one's kind of trapped underneath those metal pieces. Okay, and then there's some tape here. Oh, it looks like the black one is underneath, so I probably didn't have to peel that out. So let's go ahead and finish getting out the white wire. Let's zoom out a bit. Oops. Give me a second. I'm getting some messages that's blocking my way. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and continue peeling this up. Move that adhesive out of the way. Okay. All right, so we got that out. Let's go ahead and undo all the screws for the battery. Let's zoom out more. Okay, so we got 2 screws this side, 1 screw here, and 2 screws here. So let's go ahead and get all those screws out. Okay, again, keep all the screws in order. Alright, 1 screw up here. And 1 screw all the way over here. It looks like they have some plastic tabs. Doesn't look like they're actually underneath that board, so hopefully we can just lift the battery up now. Okay, let's go ahead and lift this out. Yep, okay, there we go. Move the white antenna wire out of the way. All right, there we go. There's actually still some liquid in here. It looks like milk, so we're gonna have to clean this up. All right. Alright, so let's go ahead and wipe up this milky substance here. At least it's not rotted milk, so alright, let's go ahead and dry this as well. Actually, maybe it's not milk. What is that? I don't know. Okay. You got the battery model number here, B41N1827. Okay, so if you need that, that's the battery model number. We're going to set the battery aside now. Okay, so there's not really any electronics underneath this, so hopefully that's okay. I'm going to get the black antenna wire back underneath this metal thing. Alright, because we didn't have to remove that, so let's go ahead and put this back in. Actually, we are going to have to remove the fan, so we'll leave that there. Okay, you got the trackpad connector here. There are 2 screws that I can see underneath. There might be more screws. Let's actually go ahead and pop this up. So I'm not going to be taking the trackpad or touchpad out. Oh yeah, there's a 3rd screw under there. So there's 3 screws underneath this keyboard connector. Or yeah, so let's flip this latch up and disconnect the keyboard cable as well. Okay, there we go. I thought there was some adhesive, but it looks like it just came out easily. So you kind of have to lift this one up slightly because the wings get caught there. So lift it up and pull it back. Connector looks okay. There was some like liquid residue holding it down, it seems. Okay, we're gonna flip this latch for the touchpad and disconnect that as well. I'm gonna actually reconnect. Actually, let's go ahead and take it out because it's not held down with adhesive or anything. So we'll take out the touchpad cable and set that aside. Okay, so touchpad, I'm gonna leave it in there. Well, I guess actually let's check it all just in case liquid got in there. So let's get these 3 screws out for the touchpad. If it's held in with some adhesive, I'm gonna leave it in there, but for now, let's see. We'll take out these screws. It might be held in with this piece here, but I think we can just peel that up. Okay, so let's get these 3 screws out. Okay, and it still seems stuck there. Yeah, it's stuck on there pretty strong. I don't know if there's liquid holding it, so let's go ahead and see about... Oh, okay, I see. So this plastic piece is all part of the trackpad, so you want to carefully lift this out. Okay, interesting, and swing this over this way. So they did have liquid on here. It looks like they cleaned it, and you can see all that residue there. I'm going to clean it better. Not that that'll fix anything because it's just on the top of it. And these are the little spring things that make it pop back up after you click it. Alright. So if you're wondering, okay. To do this kind of thing, we're going to have to use some water, I think, to clean it. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of water on a paper towel to clean this up. And then after I clean it with the water, I'm going to switch over to the rubbing alcohol to clean up the rest. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of stuck there. So let's go ahead and use the rubbing alcohol. And then we're just going to put this back in. Okay, so I don't know what they spilled on there, but I guess it's like an oily substance. I don't know. Actually, that's even with the rubbing alcohol, it's kind of tough to clean it. So I don't know what that is. Okay, let's use the dry side and clean it up. Okay, it's a lot cleaner now, as you can see. Alright, we're going to put this back in. So you want to get the bottom side in first. Okay, and then you slowly drop it down into place. Make sure you don't damage the keyboard connector. Okay, looks good. Hopefully everything is in place properly. Oops. Let's check the other side to make sure. Okay. Make sure everything is lined up right. I'm going to use a toothbrush just to clean around the edges because there's some dust trapped in there. Okay, now that it's all lined up, let's just get all these 3 screws back in for the touchpad or trackpad. So this is basically going to be a complete disassembly minus the screen. I'm not going to take the screen apart. Okay. There we go, and the last screw. We are going to remove the screen assembly from the computer because we have to, alright, in order to get to these boards. So let's actually, okay, let me see. So there's another cable here. I'm not 100% sure which is which. I'm going to guess this is the LCD or LVDS connector. I don't know if you can even see the model numbers or if those are going to be needed, but there you go. Okay, and then there's this other cable, which is most likely the touchscreen or digitizer cable. So if you can read that, if you need it, there you go. It says CMOS cable, so that's kind of weird. Alright, let's pop this cable off as well. So you just grab this tab and pull it up. If it doesn't come out, I just get underneath with my fingernail and pop up one side, and there you go. Alright, we're going to unthread these cables from here. Okay, I have to remember which way it went, but unthread the cables. Alright, there we go. Okay, and now we're going to open up the computer 90 degrees. I'm going to zoom out. You're going to see all the junk on my desk. Okay, let's open this up 90 degrees. We're going to hang the screen over the edge of the desk. Okay, and then we're going to undo these screws here. Once we've undone all the screws, then we can go ahead and lift the screen out. Okay. keep track of which one doesn't have the screw. So this center one doesn't have a screw, so make sure when you put it back, same thing with this one, screw in the center. That's part of the bottom cover, so make sure you don't put a screw in there. Okay. Again, keep all the screws in order. Okay, so now we got all the screws out. Let's go ahead and lift the screen out. So just grab it and lift it up, and here we go. We got the LCD. I'm not going to mess with this because there is more risk of damaging it, and I don't think it's bad. But you would have to pop these plastic covers off, and then I believe there's going to be screws under there. After you remove those, you can slide the screen down most likely and pull it out. But again, I'm not going to be doing that, at least not on this model. I have other ones where I did that, and you can watch those videos. All right, just search It's Been Repaired Samsung LCD or screen replacement. Anyways, let's go ahead and zoom back in. Okay, we're going to remove the hard drive. This is just a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can upgrade this to an SSD as well. Let's go ahead and flip this latch. Okay, why is this stuck? There we go. Okay, and let's pull this cable out. So I don't know why it's stuck in there, but I'm going to grab it. There we go. Is there liquid damage on this as well? That looks okay. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this hard drive out. Usually you kind of just use this to pull it out, but it's kind of weaker. So what I do is I get on the side here and then push the rubber piece sideways to kind of get it out. Let's see if we can do it. It's kind of not much area to grab here, so we might have to just use this. Excuse me, too much talking now, my throat's getting all screwed up. Okay, so that's actually pretty tough to remove that way, so we're going to use this flat tool here, and let's try and just lift it out this way. Yep, that worked. Okay, so we got that out, and let's go ahead and move this. Hard drive looks okay, so there's a 1 terabyte hard drive. This piece, you can just pull this out. As you can see, there's these little rubber nubs that go in the screw holes to mount the hard drive, and you can transfer this over to a new computer. This piece you will have to transfer over, which can be a little tricky. Is it held on? Okay, this is held on to the hard drive with an adhesive, so I don't want to mess around with this, but you will have to peel this up. If you want to be extra safe, you can try and peel up this layer to move over to the new hard drive, because peeling this adhesive, sometimes you can damage the cable. But yeah, and then as far as getting this connector off, I wouldn't pull from this side because it's just the thin PCB board. So what I would do is I would try and get under this darker plastic layer or piece here. Okay, and then I would kind of pry it there, and then when you can, as you can see, there's like a small gap here, or yeah, there you can see the small gap. I would get in there and then use a thin tool to kind of just pry that out. But again, I'm going to leave that there because the cable is held with an adhesive and I don't want to risk damaging it trying to peel it out. So we'll leave that in one piece. The speakers here, they're connected by a cable running along up here all the way plugged to the motherboard here. So we're going to disconnect this cable. I don't know how. Oh, I see. Okay, this is like an adhesive. So they put this adhesive thing here. You can see it's just a solid plastic thing, somewhat thick plastic layer. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing everything in here. So let's zoom in a bit. Okay, we're going to remove the speaker connector here. I just use my 2 fingernails like this, kind of wiggle and pull it back, just like this. You got the keyboard backlight here, so we're going to get that out. We do have to peel up. There's a piece of Kapton tape there. So we're going to peel that up if we can. Okay, get that tape out of the way. Peel that up. Alright, and then flip up that little latch there. Right? Oops, sorry, it's kind of hard for you guys to see. So flip up that latch. Once you do that, you can get underneath the little plastic tab. Let me zoom in a bit here to show you a bit better. So there's the plastic tab here on this cable. You can grab that and pull that back. There we go. All right, do we got any other cables? We got the fan connector over here. Let's zoom out. So let's see. Okay, there's one more screw holding the fan here, so let's remove that. It's a lot of screws to remember, so hopefully you guys are going to be able to keep track of all of them. Again, the best way is to put them all in the pattern that you remove them. Okay, so the fan seems to be attached to the motherboard, so yeah, we're gonna leave that in there. Okay, so I guess we'll leave the fan connector there. We're not gonna disconnect it. All right, let's zoom out a bit and let's take out the rest of the motherboard screws. So we're gonna go along. They actually have little white arrows pointing to where these screws are, so that's kind of helpful. All right, let's remove that screw there. Okay, we got that one. So we got another screw down here. We're not gonna take out the screws for the CPU or heatsink. The CPU is soldered to the motherboard, and there's almost no chance that liquid is there because I don't see any liquid anywhere around it. So we're going to just leave that as is. All right, let's go ahead and remove the screw down here. Okay, I don't know if we have to remove this screw. Most likely we will. So let's go ahead and take that out. Yep, we do. Okay. And this plastic piece, it comes out as well, so we'll take that out. Okay, and keep that together. Okay, any other screws? There's one more over here. Don't forget this one. Okay, there we go. And I think we got all the screws, so let's go ahead now and lift the motherboard out. You want to be very careful. You don't want to flex this thing. Okay, make sure these wires are out of the way. Slowly, carefully lift it up. Okay, it feels like it's caught somewhere over here. I don't know if there's any screws, but make sure all these cables are out of the way. Slowly lift, kind of wiggle. We're gonna have to lift from over here, it looks like. Okay. All right, and now that we kind of got it up more, again, you want to just carefully do this. You don't want to force it out. Just slowly lift. This part keeps getting caught on that little part that's sticking up, so I'm gonna pull that up, and then there we go. Okay, make sure the speaker wires aren't in the way, and the bottom of the motherboard actually seems to be okay. I don't know if this is liquid. What is that? Oh, that might just be like some glue or something. I don't know if you can see. There you go. You can see that. And then there's a little dust here, so I'm gonna clean the dust off and I'll be back, clean the dust out here. It looks like most of the liquid damage is onto this power button board over here and the cable, so it might be possible to repair if that didn't short something in the motherboard itself. Let's remove the one screw holding this board down and take a look underneath, see what we got. Oh yeah, this got all the liquid on it. Okay, so you can't really see it that well because it's dried up. There's some crusty stuff here, crusty whitish milky colored stuff. All right, so most likely this board is fried, and the cable probably as well. You can see the residue over here as well. All right, so we're gonna have to clean that up with some rubbing alcohol. Okay, let's use the isopropyl rubbing alcohol to clean that up. Can't get in all those little crevices. It's all dried up now, so it's not really that big of a deal to get all the residue out, but we do have to clean up the board and see if we can fix it that way. But most likely that board and the cable will need to be replaced, and if they're lucky, that will solve the problem. Okay, so this one I'm probably gonna have to use some warm running water to clean it up. You can actually still see some residue. Why is it so blurry? There you go. There's some green stuff on it too, and yeah. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up, clean the dust out, and I'll be back. We're gonna put it back together and see if we got lucky or if it's completely toast. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. We cleaned off the motherboard here. All right, cleaned out the fan, cleaned out this area. So we're going to be putting this back. We also cleaned out this whole board. So here you can see, oops, there's no more residue on it. Okay, looks all nice and clean. Okay, hopefully it survived. Hopefully nothing corroded inside this button, and hopefully none of the circuit got damaged. The other thing is the cable connected to the battery. Hopefully this isn't damaged. It looks like it's corroded a lot. I might try using a little vinegar to clean it off a little bit better. So let me actually do that and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned it the best I could. It does look like it improved a little with the vinegar, and then I also used some rubbing alcohol to clean it up. Alright, there was also like a little spot here. I kind of tried to clean it up, but you can see I can't get all that residue off. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and put this thing back together. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get the power button board back in. Okay, if you're working on this, hopefully you know that you have to keep yourself grounded, not let static build up, otherwise you could fry your computer. If you didn't know that, then you probably already fried your computer, but anyways, alright, let's get these screws in. If you're wondering, the way I'm doing that is I have my knee against a metal desk that I'm working on, so that keeps it from building up static. Alright, so anyways, we're going to get that one screw back in. The power button still is clicky, so that's good. Alright, so let's go ahead now and get the motherboard in. Okay, so we're going to work over here. Alright, you want to make sure all these cables end up back on top. So there's these two down here, and then you got the wireless antennas. You can just kind of hold them out of the way. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this back in. Okay. You have to put it slightly at an angle. Make sure it clears those little raised bumps here. Alright. The keyboard backlight cable is going underneath, so we have to make sure to pull that back out. There we go. Alright, continue slowly lowering it. This black antenna wire keeps going underneath as well. Okay, slowly lower it, and alright, make sure everything is lined up. Looks good. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, of course, is get all the screws back in. So also make sure all these cables are out of the way. Okay, looks good. Alright, so let's go ahead and get these screws back in. So we're going to get this one up here first. Okay. There's no specific order you need to put these screws back in. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get them in. But if you're following along, it's best to kind of follow exactly so you don't skip any steps. Alright. Get that one in. Get the one down here in. Okay, don't forget this little plasticky thing. Okay, get that lined up. Actually, it might be metal, I don't know. But anyways, get that lined up. Then get this screw in. Okay, I think this is just to clip the bottom cover in. Okay, and then the last motherboard screw, get that in. We can actually put this black wired antenna first. Okay, for the Wi-Fi card. Get that underneath. Underneath, there we go. You can hold the adhesive out of the way. Alright. Let's actually zoom in so you can see this a bit better. Okay. Sorry for the wobbling. Okay. Alright, and to make this easier, I'm actually going to connect it first. You want to get this completely lined up. Let's see. Actually, okay, let's just route it all the way in. I'm going to use some tweezers to do this because it's kind of fidgety. It keeps moving around. So we're going to use some tweezers to grab the antenna and get it lined up. Alright, get that into place. You want to make sure it's completely lined up before you push it down. Okay, the way you know that is if you kind of try and move it around. As you can see, it's staying in place. Then you can go ahead and push that down. There we go. Okay, the white one has to go on top of the battery, so we're going to wait until we put in the battery to put that. Okay, there's some residue here as well, so I'm going to clean that up real quick. Let's see if it will clean off. Oops, let me actually zoom out so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's some residue along this edge here, so we're going to try and clean that up a little using some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. You can see a lot of it cleans off, but not all of it. Okay. So, yeah. Alright, we're probably just going to leave that as is. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and plug in the keyboard connector here. So just get that lined up. Make sure the wings go past the raised plastic parts, and then you can go ahead and flip that down. All right, let's go ahead now and plug in these other connectors, speakers. Just get it all lined up and then pinch it together. Make sure it's going in straight. If you do it crooked, you can bend the pins inside here, and then that's going to be very difficult to repair, or you might have to have someone repair the motherboard, replace that little connector. All right, let's get this cable in. All right, get it all lined up. This adhesive piece is making it difficult, so let's get that out of the way and flip that latch down. All right, then we're just going to stick this back on top. I don't know why they have this here, but they do, so all right. There's some crumbs on there, so let's get that out. Okay, and we'll just stick that back there. All right, let's get the hard drive back in. So hard drive is down there. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get the front side in first. Actually, if you want, you can even connect the hard drive cable in first, because it'll be a little bit easier that way. Make sure it's lined up properly. It looks good, and flip that latch down. Okay, and hopefully it has enough slack that we can just swing this back down. Okay, okay, you kind of want to lift it so that it goes straight down. You can't really put it at an angle. All right, and push it all down at once. There we go. All right, hopefully that's in as much as it's supposed to be. Okay, so we got all of that into place. Let's see here, what do we got next? We got there's that short cable. Where did that one come from? That's for the trackpad. Okay, we got to put back the trackpad cable. So don't forget that one. Flip that latch up. Get that into place. Okay, flip that latch down. Okay, make sure this latch is up and get that into place as well. You might have to do the other side first because this has to go under the fan, so let's actually take the bottom one out first. Okay, and we're gonna get this underneath the fan here. There we go. And grab this. I know my hand's probably in the way, but that's how I have to do it. Okay. Alright, get that into place. Flip that latch down. Get the other end of the touchpad cable in. And flip that down. Okay. Hopefully everything is all in the way it should be. Okay. Now we got the battery. Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom out here a bit. Okay. So hopefully I'm not going to have to put in the screen cables first. I think I can do this first. Okay, so we're going to get the battery and drop that into place. We're not going to plug it in yet, of course. Okay, we're just getting this into place. And then we're going to get these wires back underneath, so we have to lift the adhesive back up. Okay. Technically the adhesive doesn't really do anything, so you don't need to put it back there, but I like to keep things the way it was. Okay, just like that. And also this part of the antenna goes underneath that part of the battery, so keep that in mind. Right, we're going to get this cable in. Alright, get that, flip that latch down. I'm going to get this side of the cable in as well. Okay, get that in, flip this latch down. All right, and then, I forgot to peel up this side of the tape. Now I gotta take this back out. Okay, let's take this connector, this side of the connector back out. Okay, let's get that back underneath there. Uh-oh, someone's calling. All right, let's get this cable back in. It might be the customer checking to see if it's fixed or not. Okay, flip that latch down, there we go. Then we're gonna have this go underneath the battery connector there, and then go over this way, this way, this way, this way. And let's get that lined up. Make sure it's in place. This one's a little tricky. Come on, it's hard to tell. Can't really see. Let's zoom in here. Okay. Click that into place. Good. Get the adhesive back on. All right, let's zoom out again. I think everything's in. Let's get the battery screws back on. Okay. Almost there. All right, last battery screw down here. And hopefully the wire can fit between the battery. I think it can. Okay, let's get the M.2 SATA SSD in there. Get that in at an angle like this. Squeeze both sides, all right. Then get that down. Make sure it's lined up. Get the screw in. There we go, perfect. And then we just got to get the screen back on. So I'm gonna flip this back upside down. Zoom out so you can kind of see again. All right, and we're just hanging the screen over the edge like before. Make sure these cables go up. Okay. Then we're gonna drop the screen into place, just like that. On the screen screws here, it's actually good to use some thread locker to hold them in place better. So I'm gonna actually put these screws first, so this one. Then we're gonna slowly, carefully close the screen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my thumbs over the hinges. I'm gonna put the screen down on the desk and then use that to push it. All right, so just like this. All right, and now I'm gonna get some red thread locker to put on the screws for the screen. Zoom in a bit. Okay. Get that. All right, and we're just gonna put a little bit, not even a drop, okay? So just like that. All right, we're gonna do that with all those screws. That way these don't come loose, and then they won't cause any trouble in the future. A lot of times the hinge screws come a little bit loose and then they cause problems, so you want to be careful with that. I like to add the thread locker to prevent that from happening. All right, you don't have to use the red stuff, you can use the blue one if you have the blue one. I like to use the red because I've seen a lot of the hinges come apart, and even with the blue thread locker. But yeah, as long as you kind of pay attention, and if it comes loose that you tighten them back up, should be okay. All right. Okay. All right, last two. Okay, last one. All right. Okay, so we got all those screws in. All that's left now is to put back the LCD and the LCD LVDS and the touchscreen connectors. Okay, so we're just gonna get these to follow these little routing things. Hopefully you can see. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have this go underneath here, have that go underneath there, have that go underneath there, this go underneath there, following the fan just like the wireless antennas. Okay, just like this. Okay, all the way up here, and then let's get this cable connected on there. So get that lined up, make sure it's completely aligned straight. You don't want to try and force it in crooked. Okay, there we go. Then push it down on both sides. Okay, good to go. Everything looks good. All right, we're gonna do the same with this cable. This one goes this way, it goes underneath this rubber piece here, and then it goes around here like that, and then we can plug this in. Okay, just like that. All right, excuse me. All right, now let's go ahead and plug the battery back in finally. So make sure this metal latch is pushed back, okay? Then just get this lined up and push it in, okay? Once you get that pushed in, you should be able to slide the metal thing back over, just like that. All right, and we should be good to go. We're gonna plug this in and see if it powers up. Let's actually also put the bottom cover back on here. I should probably clean that as well. It kind of has some residue. So let's get that greasy residue off. Okay, we got some of it. Try and keep cleaning that. Okay, I don't know what that stuff is, but got most of it out. Let's zoom out again. All right, and let's go ahead and put it all back together. All right, click all these things back in. Okay, go all the way around. We're actually gonna test it before we put back all the screws, just to be safe, to see if we even need to. All right, plug this wire in. Hopefully their charger isn't damaged. Excuse me, my throat. Okay, so let's get this. All right, let's plug it in and see if any lights come on. So I see a light here, but it shouldn't be on already, so it thinks it's already on, so that's probably dead. Let's go ahead and open it up and see if we have any life. I'm gonna unplug this. Okay, yeah, it's weird. It thinks it's already on, so that's probably because it's shorted. Oh, actually, we got life. We're gonna see if the power button actually works though, so let's wait till it completely turns on. We're gonna shut it down, and then we're gonna see if we can power it back up. So I don't know, it turned itself back on. Okay, the screen's also kind of dirty, so touch screen's working. I can see the touchscreen dots going. Okay, let's shut this down. Touchscreen works, perfect. I guess I can clean this as well. It's kind of, didn't clean it as well as they could have. All right, let's see if the power button works. Actually, it's still showing that it's on, so I don't know. That's not too good. I mean, at least we know that the computer is turning on. So, okay, the power light is off now. So we got the power light off. Let's see if we are lucky. And it's working. Alright, ASUS is on. So it looks like we got this fixed. Alright, I don't know their password. We're going to go ahead, close this up, and put back the rest of the screws. I'm going to let it keep charging for now. But it looks like we're good to go. Let's get all these screws back in. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, again, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others. Kind of check out my other videos. Oh, so it looks like this screw mount is actually bad. That's why the screw is just loose over there. So we're just going to put this back on. This one actually has more residue left behind here. So I think what happened was they probably mixed these two up. Let me see, can I take this back out and transfer this adhesive? So this one kind of already has adhesive there, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this rubber foot there. They might have actually mixed up some of these. So this one has no adhesive residue at all. Huh, actually, okay, never mind, they're all like that. So, well, alright, let's get all these screws back in. Okay, get that one in. This one has no adhesive at all, so I'm going to stick that in there. I'm going to actually get some double stick adhesive to put if I don't have it. So let's stick this one here. I don't know if any of these are thicker or thinner or if they're all the same. Usually if there's thicker ones, they go towards the back. They seem about the same. Okay, we'll stick that in there. Okay, this one actually has the adhesive, but yeah. All right, let's get this screw in. All right, and then we're gonna clean off all the rest of the residue that's on there. Looks like we might be good to go. Did this one actually? Oh yeah, that doesn't have any residue adhesive thing there. Okay. Last few screws and we're good to go. Other than that, thanks for watching. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Alright. Let's get all these screws in there. The other thing I didn't really check is if the keyboard was working completely, because I'll need their password for that. But yeah. Alright, last screw. Alright, see you all later. Let's drop this. Bye.